we know some big players are still going to dump some bags.
Oh,
That's what's gonna be.
No one's gonna take a trade like that, a 2 or 3 week trade that makes them that much money and not take any profits from it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Bigs and Bogs.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Oh.
Trading.
Oh, hey guys, welcome back to your future hand with Biggs and Boggs. I'm Marty Boggs.
And I'm Julian Biggs.
And we got Spencer on sound and screens. Thanks for joining us today, folks. We like to come at you about once a week or so and talk about some subjects that we believe will benefit your future hands. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, and what are we up to today, and how can we plan for tomorrow? Julian.
Thanks, Marty. Good to be back. Didn't see you guys last week, so things have been absolutely insane in the markets. We're going to talk about that. What's caused this little pump here? We're going to talk about the correlation between the Bitcoin purchases and the grounded flights in the U.S. last week. Very strange. We're going to talk about the debt ceiling in the U.S. Many, many things today. We're going to get into it first with a market scope.
Market scope. We're not chopping that part.
Yes, you are. Anyway, so let's start on Bitcoin today. We're looking at the Bitcoin versus U.S. dollar chart on the weekly time frame. Actually, I've zoomed out a bit here. Let's look at the weekly time frame and see what's going on. Daily's a little choppy still. But the thing to notice is that, you know, we talked about this orange line of resistance from the first all-time high before we see these, in most cases, when we get to the top, we see these double tops or a bearish divergence before everything drops. So I did want to put a line from either, and I did that. And I talked about breaking this line in, you know, maybe January, late December, and it was literally December 30th, this thing touched bottom, and then January 1st, we were off to the races. So absolutely insane. I did not expect.
It's been a good year.
It's been a good year for Bitcoin. 2023 is unreal.
Isn't it funny? Everybody said that was going to be a terrible year.
This is actually one of Bitcoin's best performances, like ever. I think it was like one day off its best performance for
2 weeks, or
yeah, I think the longest run it had was 2018 of 15 days. And this was about, I think this was 13 or 14 days. I can't remember exactly.
and it's gone 20%.
Well, it's actually done 27% in a month. In 30 days, it did 27%. So, this is insane. And so we're going to talk about what's caused this a bit. So stick around for that. If you are watching these episodes and you're getting value from this content, please like it. This is going to help us get the channel out there. We get about 5 likes an episode, and we'd like to hit them.
That's huge.
Yeah, you know, we're getting up there, but we're getting the views are going up. But we'd like you to, you know, show us the support. If you are watching, please do us a favor.
Well, it was all those people that were talking about Bitcoin over the Christmas holiday, obviously.
That too, yeah. Our last episode got you know,
December
quite a few views for us not advertising or doing any of that.
Yeah, December's always good for content consumption.
Yeah,
because people aren't working a lot, so hanging out.
So the thing is,
screening.
What's caused this? What's caused this insane run up here, and what's going on in the other markets? We know that this thing is strongly correlated with the SPX chart, and if you caught that short that I posted, I talked about the cup and handle breakout here. And that's what happened. Bitcoin broke out with it. But what happened after that was really surprising to me, because generally if the SPX is doing something, Bitcoin is really following suit. So what happened last week, there was a corrupted file apparently deleted or leaked or hacked, or something happened in the U.S. system that...
the answer is they probably don't really know.
They don't really know. And there's different... There was kind of like conflicting stories there too. But anyway, something happened that caused a glitch in the system, and they had to ground all flights for a day. And there was a hacker that was requesting ransoms in Bitcoin, right? So a glitch in the matrix happened. They had to ground all flights. The SPX was pumping, but when that happened, they absolutely dumped the entire market on everybody. So Bitcoin came up. We talked about breaking out and catching this 200-day moving average. That's exactly what happened, which is fantastic. But we dumped all the way down through the 50 EMA before finding a recovery and coming back up. And we hung out down here for a day. So all these, you know, traditional finance, JP Morgan, BlackRock, all these people will tell you fucking Bitcoin's a fraud and a scam, and everything else, it's a Ponzi. But in my opinion, what it's doing is exposing the Ponzi. And this shows
well,
it
and
right
not
here.
to mention, look at that close open gap there.
So they dumped
after hours trading.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And it will always, that's another thing I wanted to point out too, is that it will always fill these open close gaps. So this is something that I used in trading, is how to identify this supply and demand. And when the SPX shows these gaps, 9 times out of 10, it's going to fill that gap again. So it can actually give you a little advantage when you're trading. But the fact that it dumped this much, like it gave back all of its gains from the week, and Bitcoin not only stayed where it was, it pumped even more, right? So this shows me that the U.S. government and these large investors were dumping the stock markets because of the glitch of whatever happened.
The scare.
And they purchased, they
scare.
sent Bitcoin up 20% in 7 days.
So potentially
That's
because
insane.
they needed to purchase Bitcoin to pay the ransom,
Yeah.
and or they just realized how insecure everything else is.
Yeah.
Or a lot of other people realized how insecure the system is, and if it could be hacked like that, well then, like there's so many reasons that pump potentially could have happened, right? Not only just like getting away from that bottom, because there's a lot of people out there that don't even listen to the macro, and they're just waiting for bottom. Okay,
So
once we've gotten back up, well, obviously that we went down just as fast as we went back up again, right through that low volume area. So people FOMO in because they're like, then that was bottom, that was it. Now we're on the way up. Well, maybe slowly or whatever, but like, with FOMO is the panic buy that we have been talking about happened over the last 2 weeks, no question.
With recession coming though, or like, with them telling us that recession is coming, we're going to feel more recession this year. Like, I don't see this. I don't know if that was bottom, because if traditional finance still finds a lower low than it already has, this will go lower again too.
And it depends what people believe. They're gonna try to push the narrative you just explained.
This year was not, mom and pop and you and I with our few, $1,000. You know what I mean? This was massive money, billions of dollars, right? So.
But did you look at the overall volume that it actually? So I was looking at the charts the other day, and volume-wise, how much money it took for us to trade down when SBF collapsed, when FTX collapsed. We actually traded up at a much less volume, like meaning so as people aren't selling. The selling pressure is going away. It took a lot more volume for us to go down as much as we did compared to how much we've gone back up.
That's also that's a result, I think, of miners. Once miners start to hold their Bitcoin again.
Exactly.
The selling pressure comes off. So miners have started holding their Bitcoin again.
Yeah.
But we talked about this bottom here. We talked about the bottom of 15.4 here back in October. We talked about a reversal coming January 1st. And the reason for, in my opinion, and I talked about this in my last little 5-minute update that I did, was that we tally up the numbers for inflation of 2022, and they're right underneath 2%, which is exactly where they wanted to be. So we had 7 increases to interest debt, or like debt financing, in 2022, brought us down to 2%, which is exactly where they needed to be. So the numbers for 2022 for December 22 come out, and we had 6.5%, which is exactly where they wanted to be. Tally up all the numbers. Now we can tally up all the numbers for 2022, and it was right where they wanted to be, which makes it okay to take on more risk. People buy more assets.
Was it really? Was it really where they wanted it to be?
No, it's where they wanted to tell you it was going to be, so that they can manipulate the fucking markets, right? So if it says
there's no way it's actually where they wanted it to be. There's no way that it actually was what they said in the beginning.
When they fuck up the economy, okay, so when they print $6 trillion in 18 months and they give it to everybody, right? But now we've got this fucking debt crisis, and we need to level out this economy by bringing cash back into the system. So what do? We raise the fucking interest on everything you already bought and purchased to get that fucking money back in cash without having to print any, right? So it's like, it's just it's because an ongoing and perpetual
because they gave
fucking
themselves
scam.
a debt ceiling, and they were supposed to have all this figured out by last week or whatever, and now they've just basically ignored it and said, we're going to push the deadline another 6 months while we figure this out. But really, they didn't try, or didn't show any proof of trying to figure out, balance the budget. I'm sure you've heard before.
Right.
Because it's so far gone that they don't even care to try anymore. They're just going to push it on to the next generation and retire and take their money and go. So even if you just look at the market's movement in 2020, while everybody was staying at home, not paying attention to what happened in the financial system, they all got ridiculously rich. They're all clearly setting up their retirement. They're shaking the market. They're shaking. They're faking. They're doing everything they can to make themselves as rich as possible, and then they're gonna just walk away.
Right.
Because why wouldn't you? Right. This is how it works, and it's clearly broken. So they know that before everybody else. So another reason why the recession potentially could come. People are losing faith.
Right.
But is that going to affect crypto? Is that going to affect Bitcoin? Are we going to see the decoupling of Bitcoin from the traditional markets because of this reason, right? Because people are seeing that there's no point in holding U.S. dollars. There's no point in holding the U.S. dollar went from $1.10 compared to all the other currencies in the world down to $1 in the last 2 months.
We can look at the Dixie in a sec too.
It's like it's pretty
So-
clear that it doesn't have like we were saying it's been making lower highs for the last 100 years, and there you go. Now
So
we're back
here's-
going below $1
The SPX over
for
the
the
200.
world reserve currency. Like I don't know, red flag.
Well, yeah, exactly. But they're gonna like CBDCs are coming sooner than people think.
Oh yeah,
But anyway, so here we are on the SPX again daily chart underneath the 200. This is it, when Marty's talking about are we going to decouple from traditional finance here, and it was crazy to me to see that Bitcoin not only outperformed in gains but outperformed in strength to stay above its relative 200. So you can see we got above and kind of we came down to $20,400 when the SPX dumped into the abyss.
yeah. It went back down to or somewhere around the pink or blue line, right?
Well, the SPX came all the way down here,
right.
and now it's still below its 200. So, it's really crazy to see. But is this really when Bitcoin's going to decouple the traditional finance market? I don't know. This is why I want to draw attention to this resistance line that comes from the most recent all-time high, because we are still, as long as we haven't broke this line, we are technically still in a downtrend on the larger scale timeframes, right? So, and we also want to be aware of the fact that the annual candle even was a bearish engulfing candle.
Yeah.
So I want to be very careful about how excited people get here, because the larger time frames, which are stronger identifiers.
Always you want to be careful about how excited you're getting. Always.
But the hype here, for everything, through this was crazy. And like I said, I don't think there wasn't a lot of retail. I think the last week was a lot of retail holding this thing up here, but it was big finance and big money, smart money that
Manipulated
moved this thing to the FTX number, right? So
Yeah.
that was planned. Now you're buying it, and there's a good chance that when we hit this
Yes.
fucking 50 or the top of this target. So if I'm looking at the weekly chart and we have this double bottom,
Which means the 50 will probably be perfect.
so this is what caused the breakout too. So this double bottom here was also, if we get the RSI back up here, was a huge bullish divergence, right?
yeah.
That was the main signal here to say that this was the reversal point.
That took about 2.5 months to play out.
Yeah, this is that signal playing out, and I don't know how much further it's going to go. So the top of this target, if this was the W pattern here on the weekly chart, the top of this target is 26,000 and 26,600, like approximately. So there's a chance that we get through here on the weekly and lick into the 50 period EMA on the weekly here.
Yeah.
But that's, I would say that is like,
Look out for the sell-off.
exactly. It's stretching it pretty fucking far.
Yeah,
So
it went up really quick. It went up with low volume. It went up obviously with not a lot of wallets involved. It's big players moving the market. It's easier to do than you think when you have billions of dollars to put in and out of the market. So yeah, like you said, this is exactly what that retail wants to see to start buying again, right? And then that's exactly what they want you to think. That okay, here we go now. But it's funny because we were buying on the whole way down. You don't like when it starts to go back up again. That's when you're starting to take profits and lock in profits, right?
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that you're paying attention to this stuff and we're on the right side of things, right?
And if we look,
because
at
if we were DCA in the whole last month and a half, then we were up big, right? Because we were buying in the 16s, we were buying in the 17s and the 18s.
you got to keep buying. If you don't keep buying, you will lose.
Yeah.
You have to keep buying.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Bitcoin. If you continue to buy and hold for 5 years, you will be ahead, just like everybody else who's done the same thing, right? So, that you can't get scared out. But anyway, I want to draw attention to this now. So we knew that the bullish divergence played out on the weekly. That's fantastic. But now we have this big bearish divergence on the daily chart. So
yes,
I mean, it's not a huge divergence.
Well, it makes complete sense to cool off for a bit.
Yeah. So,
like you just said, retail is what's made that second spike, right? So that's how you get a divergence. Basically, the second move that went even higher wasn't as strong as the first move, so it won't be able to be sustained.
it's retail.
That's what a divergence is, basically explaining, right? So now there's a good chance that we will either cool off or come back down to retest that previous high.
Well, I find that the charts do follow each other. So if we even go down to the 4 hour, right? Like look at how high I'm just going to look at the RSI only here. Look at how high, and now this divergence is even bigger if we go down to the earlier time frames, actually. But look at how high and how long the 4-hour RSI stayed in the oversold area. So we came out of it January 8th. We came out of it January 8th, and we're still floating around in oversold territories January 23rd. So this is insane. So if these charts do follow each other, we had the first bearish divergence, which was right here. Okay, now that's the daily doing that. So the daily still honestly does have a chance to drag out
Right.
and play out in the oversold, just as the shorter time frames do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
this cool down could still include runs to 26K.
It could.
You know what I mean?
It
So
very well could. It depends on how hyped people get, right? Because you have people like JP Morgan saying that Bitcoin's a scam. They're trying to
and they're buying it. That's the
Yeah.
fucked up thing. So they dropped this. When this dropped, Bitcoin continued to fucking pump and go up. So you can't tell me that these guys aren't dumping traditional finance
Yeah.
and putting it into the fucking
exactly
Bitcoin
what's
market,
happening.
right?
And that's
now,
exactly why they're saying these things. They don't want you to buy. They
Yeah.
want you to sit on your hands and wait till the recession's over. But really,
Yeah.
the whole time there's a recession, they're scooping up
they're
all your
scooping
bags.
it up crazy. And this too, now that they're pumping this back up, like look at the volume in these days, right? So they're going to pump this
Yeah.
thing back up. Now, if this does break out of the 200, then Bitcoin's going to break out again, and it will break that resistance line, and that's going to send us to our target of, potentially $26,600 there. So it's
But,
crazy, but
you know what though?
don't get too excited.
Yeah, well, the best thing that we can hope for is sideways price action all this year. Right?
Yeah, so I'd like to see it. It'd be fantastic to see. I'd like to see it touch 19K again. Honestly, I'd feel a little bit better if it could hold that support of 18.8 to 19.8. If it could stay in that area,
Yeah.
I think
We know
that
some
we
big
look pretty
players,
good for 2023.
and the reason why that could happen is because we know some big players are still going to dump some bags.
Oh,
that's
no
what's
one's
gonna
gonna
be.
no one's gonna take a trade like that, a 2 or 3 week trade that makes them that much money and not take any profits from it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and it's like it's just the way it works.
That's the way it works.
So I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I said, I
You
pulled a
gotta
little
take
bit
profits.
I pulled a little bit of profit at 21.5, but I'm happy with that. I traded really well there the other week in the run up, and I took some profit. And we need to be more aware of that. In 2021, in that run up, the one thing that I didn't do enough was take profits on the way up, and I wish I would have. Right. So we need to be smarter in this game. We dollar cost average in, and when we're in the euphoria state, we have to dollar cost average out, because if you don't take profits, you're never going to make any money. Right. So
or you're just waiting a long,
unless you're
long
waiting,
time.
like if you're only doing the RSP style plan and you're $50 every 2 weeks or $50 a week or whatever your case may be, then you wait 10 years and you're fine. But
Yeah,
you know
wait
what I
till
mean?
you're up 100%, then start taking some profits.
If you were buying heavy though at 15K, then maybe you want to.
Well, that's just the thing. That's what the
maybe you
big
wanna
guys
take a
do.
little bit. So
It's funny because they're still dollar cost averaging, but their dollar cost average is around 20 to 30 grand per purchase.
and say you
Or more.
You have 10K, right? You got 10K. The market goes up. What did it do? 27%. So you got 13K, right? What I would do personally in that scenario, and this is how I'm gonna continue to trade, is when we get to the euphoria state, I'll take out whatever the profits are. Okay, and then when those profits come out, and the price comes down, I will buy back the same amount of Bitcoin, but it's going to be less money. And then whatever's left over from that purchase goes into the stable coin, or it comes out into fiat or whatever it is. And that's going to be the way
That's what you're using.
That's the way I'm going to start to take profit, maybe buy groceries and gas and things like that, right? So I'm always having the goal of holding the same amount of Bitcoin, but I want it for less money. So when it goes up, and we know that the two things in this market that steer this market are greed and fear. Okay, we had mass fear, now we have mass euphoria, mass greed, and things like that. I don't care if it goes a little bit higher. I'm going to take some of my profits out here, right? So
I will say one thing though, there's no doubt about it that there's a lot more people paying attention here at this bottom than there was the last cycle bottom.
Right.
Like a lot of the live streams that I hop into, I see, back then there was like 200-300 viewers at the bottom. Like everyone's like, fuck crypto, it's over. I'm out.
Yeah.
Right now we're still seeing
So
thousands, if not tens of
love this-
thousands in popular live crypto.
I love this analogy.
YouTube. Yeah, right. So people are still here, right?
I've heard this a couple times, this analogy, and like things go on sale. You know what I mean? Like you get a fucking mailbox full of flyers for the grocery store. Black Friday comes on. Boxing Day sales. You get 2 TV. They're gonna run in and stomp your head for 4 TVs. You know what I mean? Like, like it's crazy. It's like they put anything on sale and show you a couple of fucking marketing tips on it or whatever, and you guys are gonna go crazy and fucking stomp each other's heads to get some TVs and some, you know what I mean? Like some shit. It's just it's crazy to me. But assets that will make you fucking bank, tons of bank go on sale, and everyone's like, "Oh, fuck, the world's ending, fuck, it's over, I'm not buying this
I
shit."
can't put my money
So it's
there.
like it's the only thing that goes on sale and nobody wants to buy it.
Yeah.
But when it's fucking at its highest price,
Everybody wants
everybody
to buy
wants to scoop it up.
Sounds like you might be getting manipulated.
It's fucking nuts, man.
Yeah,
Right?
it's pretty crazy.
Like people are losing limbs and breaking legs and stuff on Black Friday.
I've heard people.
like,
I've because obviously it's been talked about just in social circles, and people. I've heard people say right around me like, "Oh, once it gets back around 40K, I'll probably start buying again." And I'm like, dude, no, because anything you buy now, once it's at 40K, is going to be double.
right?
That's why you buy now. Don't wait
That's
till
what I
it's
mean.
higher.
That's what
Why would you
people
have
don't
that
get that.
goal?
People don't get that. It's 27% in the last 30 days because
Yeah.
it's down at the lowest prices ever. So the
Yeah.
other thing to be aware of too is that if each run, and this is actually another reason I'm skeptical. So we haven't quite made a full 85% drop from the top, right? So every single drop from the top has been over 80%. And
But we also
this
did-
year's was only 77%.
But we
So-
also had a smaller gain over in the bull run too. So, right, because there's the curve.
yeah, but
It's flattening.
They
We're
got it.
flattening the curve.
They got it twice because they went to 64K, dropped it back, and then took it again.
That's right. That's
So,
right. But that also had to do with the money printing.
if you traded that well, it was still
yeah.
the same.
That had to do
really,
with
but
the money printing, though, right?
there's
Because
so
that
much-
happened because they put in another 40%
well,
right there, right? So
I think it's just the level of value and the difference of smart money between the geeks that were buying Bitcoin before.
yeah, that's
You
for
know what
sure.
I
That's
mean?
for
Like,
sure. Yeah, it's
it's-
not going anywhere. There's
it's a
no
different
question. It's
game
going to be
now.
the future of finance. It's peer to peer. It makes everything so much easier once you understand it and know how to use it. It's just like for us, we know it's.
But
I mean, it's
they're
my
also-
choice, my preferred choice of transferring value.
They're also
personally.
going to keep dumping it on you every time because they want to slow down the innovation, right?
Of course.
you
Well,
know,
and
like,
a
I
lot
don't
of people
see-
just look at it for something to make them money, right? But
I don't
really,
see
for
this-
me, it's a use case.
I don't see
use it.
stock markets hitting an all-time high for fucking at least a decade.
Yeah,
if
10
not,
years.
if not more.
Yeah,
But Bitcoin potentially see a new high
in 2 years.
Well, I hope so, but I'm also skeptical that if they're scooping up so much of these lower prices that they'll dump it on you and they'll keep it under 70K for another 10 years.
That's fair.
Right.
Until it's evenly distributed, then it's hard
so
to do.
it's like
but-
it's hard to say like I don't know. It's like they're not going to make it that easy for so many people to make millions of dollars. You know what I mean?
that's true. They're
And
going to
it's
do
like
their
there's a
hardest.
lot
to
of
not.
people in crypto that like to leverage trade. There's no way it's just going to let's pump it to 100K. It's like no,
Yeah.
they're going to tease you with it. Maybe it'll hit fucking 71 and then it's
Exactly.
going to be back to
Yeah, they're
30,
going to fake you.
35,
They're going to
right?
shake you. They're going to make you not want to do it anymore until
Yeah.
your knuckles are bleeding, but you still
Yeah.
got to stick in there.
And that's what they've
Stick
done with
crypto.
that's what they've done with traditional finance their whole lives too. Like
Yeah.
and that started in 1907, and that's basically what created.
Yeah,
the
that's
Fed
why
in
we
the
just
first
say
place,
dollar
right?
cost average. If you really don't care about it, you don't want to trade, you just want to get financially freedom in the future, then you just dollar cost average in the whole time, no matter what the price is. You do your weekly or monthly or whatever the hell you do, and you'll be better off for it in a decade. And then obviously while you're doing that, you're learning the whole time because you're using it, and whether you know it or not, you're going to be a pro at it before that 10 years is up. So it's nothing but knowledge, and as we know, with AI and all the stuff that's coming out now, you best know how to work all this stuff, because if you don't, it's not going to be like, oh yeah, our kids can figure out the camcorder or the VCR. It's like this is the digital era. You're going to be left behind completely if you don't figure this stuff out now. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We can do it. We can do it because, like you said,
you'll just be an NPC. You'll go to and from your job, and that's fucking it.
yeah,
Like,
and everything else will happen. But don't worry, because it was developed by a person, so you as a person can figure it out. Just have the patience.
yeah. But be involved. Like I don't know. It's so weird now. Like
Well, once you're in,
the
you're
most
in.
power. It's fucked that the most powerful currency now is just attention, and it's like I don't know.
Oh yeah,
it's just
views, view count. Oh, so many views, bro. So
such a
many
weird
views.
thing. But it's like,
But what if the
that's
what if the
makes
thing
you,
is-
but that's what makes you money now too, right? Like
Yeah,
people are making
even
millions
if
of
the
dollars
thing
on
viewed
Instagram
is
doing dumb
misinformation.
shit,
Yeah, exactly. Stupid stuff that isn't going to do anything for you.
reposting
Yeah.
shit that isn't theirs.
Yeah.
Using AI to make videos of celebrities doing dumbass fucking shit and then making millions of dollars on YouTube. Like
Well, you know what though, because the population that's watching that, they're
Fucking retard.
they're
not gonna
the
work out.
NPCs. It's
it's
like
not going to work out for them in the long run. But the population who's watching channels like this, who have true good value, you will be
hit
good.
that like button.
Yeah, smash that like button.
Yeah, it's crazy times, man. But be on the right side of the trade here if you're paying attention. Like we are entering the biggest paradigm shift of our generation,
And just watch out for the red flags. They're calling for a recession in the mainstream media. If you're watching this channel for the last 6 months, you know we were talking about a recession 6 months ago.
And they were talking about painting the markets for January too. And it's like you know, as far as I can see, like, you know, there's people saying now that, oh, bottom's in, bottom's in, bottom's in. But back in October, we were calling the bottom and the potential reversal point coming in January.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you are following, you're getting value.
There's a reason why they inform you a little bit behind, because they do that on purpose. They make their moves and then they tell you about it.
Yeah.
They put their mask
Yeah.
on before they
Yeah.
help others.
And I
So
feel
you
like
should do the same.
some of the YouTubers do that too, and I don't
Well, of
know
course
why.
they
Like,
do.
I don't know.
Not
I
only
just-
potentially on purpose, but also I think they just don't do the research. They're just getting the information from the people who are informing the general public. So they just regurgitate the same
Right.
information, right? They don't actually. You can tell the difference between a YouTube channel that actually knows what's going on and a YouTube channel that just regurgitates the mainstream media's information in I
Right.
like blockchain
right.
type format, right?
Right.
It's
So
like,
yeah. So anyway, they said more pain was coming, and
which it
you
very
know,
well
this was
could.
this was one of the better sides. Like, this was definitely the better side of some trades that I've been on.
Yeah,
And-
if you
and
were long in the last
it was
13
based
days,
on
you're
us,
doing
yeah,
good. It's a good year.
watching what was going on in the narrative.
You're prepared for the recession because
And,
you just made a yearly income in the
and
last
traditional finance
2
market.
weeks.
Yeah, yeah, fuck.
All right, folks. Well, you know what? Subscribe if you're new. Smash that like button. Leave a comment. Let us know what's going on, and we'll catch you in the next one, eh?
Do the things.
Bigs and Bogs out.
Peace.
Peace.
Biggs and Bogs.
Oh, man. Nobody hit the like button.
I want to fucking, like, when we finally go doing it.